Okay, the first thing is, this event is run by GEAS, the Role Playing Society at Emory University, and next year's president is Malin. So Malin has some words to say.
I would really just like to thank everyone involved with the con. It's been great. I'd like to thank everyone who's volunteered, and I would like especially to thank the committee for putting so much work into this. So, after everything's done, we have a few bottles of wine there in present.
No, it's a mine. Glad you see the round, Ken? Aye. So we have a sequence of speeches to do. We hope to keep them brief, Phil. And that's coming from me. And so the first thing we'll announce is the winner of the Iron GM competition. You got a bunch of books on Saturday, had to come up with a scenario. We have a winner. The winner wins this prize, The Havering Adventures, based on the free-based poetry of John Wilson. Apparently it comes with a map of how to do Thai massage in scuba gear. So the winner of Iron GM is Cuba. Well done, Cuba, and there you go. Cuba! Next awards to be announced are for the griffies. So, all weekend you've had the chance to vote on best sort of role-playing game product in the last year and best board game product in the last year. We had a lot of nominations for each category. These were narrowed down to a shortlist, and they were voted on by the attendees at the con, and there was a lot of voting, and everyone got votes, and there were some people that had clearly made efforts to rock the vote and get their fan base out. Congratulations, you know who you are. More importantly, I know who you are, and you all use the same pen. And so this year, the board game Griffey for the best board game product released in the last year, as voted by the attendees of Compulsion Apocalypse, is Ora et Labora by Z-Man Games. Rosenberg game, and it's excellent. And the role-playing game Griffey, which goes to the best role-playing product voted by Compulsion Apocalypse attendees, is Dark Harvest Legacy Fight. Because Ian's here, I'd like Ian maybe to make a small speech of gratitude to his friends that voted for him. But also to the other people that voted as well, because it's been there were a lot of votes, and it was certainly an award that you have deservedly won. Ian.
I think that proves you can buy votes. I shouldn't be up here on my own at all. Andrew, Steve, you guys should be here as well.
Come on up. Yeah, come on.
One of the reasons I think that we've maybe had as many votes as we have is Andrew had the card game with him, and I think everyone who's played it enjoyed it enough. I think to come up and do the voting. Dark Harvest isn't, it's just not a solo thing, but the thing I want to say thank you it's kind of trending to think that, you know, awards don't mean anything. This one does, because Compulsion has been the foundation of Dark Harvest from the very beginning. Everyone met here, we launched it here, we got the publishing deal here, we've launched, you know, the card games come here, we announced a computer game here today, so we're going to keep coming back and keep doing new stuff, because Compulsion is the start of it, and Compulsion is going to be the continuation of it. But yeah, thank you guys.
We actually have some griffin miniatures from the con a few years ago that we painted up in gold and will be given to you. So you'll get a certificate and a griffin, and we'll give you a web banner, and congratulations. So the next thing and the final thing that I have to sort of present officially is the Banquo Award for the Spirit of Scottish Gaming. And this is the award given to someone that exemplifies the spirit of Scottish gaming, whatever that may be. And the previous years we've had winners such as John Wilson, Janet Kerr, Sean Maguire. We had, last year it was Sandy from Aberdeen, who 25 years before had started all this nonsense of having conventions in Scotland. I believe this is now the 25th year of us having a convention here. And so the Shadowy Cabal was talking away about who was going to be this year, and we have a winner. And so hot off of my new Samsung Galaxy S2, this year the Banquo, which is this lovely and quaint, come on Rocky, is presented to Paul Bourne. Now, in great tradition of anyone associated with the Tesco Ground Studios, they're not actually at the ceremony when they get the award. So I'll say some brief words, and then I'd like to invite Malcolm Craig, a previous winner who also managed to dodge the awards by going to New Zealand that year. We'll also say some words and accept it on behalf of Paul. So, Paul Bourne will be our first art winner of the Banquo Award. Selfless, modest and hugely talented, Paul has consistently produced stunning work for 10 years and always ahead of the curve on RPGs, with rendered computer art, typography, design, form and layout. His major award-winning works are A-State 2003, Cold City 2006, 316 Cards Once to Stars and Hot War both 2008, and most recently The One Ring 2011. One senior professional, who modestly prevents me from naming, described him to me as follows: "I have never worked with anyone so capable, stoic, loyal and able, ever." Paul's can-do attitude, often on limited time and budget, really deserves to be rewarded, and so we do. He powerfully and gloriously brings forward the vision of writers to the printed page and the minds of gamers. And I think particularly of Greg Porter with EABA, Malcolm Craig for A-State and Cold City Hot War, Sarah Newton with Mindjammer, and of course the worlds of J.R.R. Tolkien in The One Ring. His humble demeanour belies the great warmth, respect and affection in which he is held by artists, publishers and gamers. Paul, well done, we salute you. Malcolm, if you can come forward. If you can say a few words on behalf of Paul, as he said a few words on behalf of you when you went here for your award.
Yeah, indeed. I'll keep this very brief. As a very close friend of Paul's for a long time, having worked with him for the best part of a decade on various games products, it gives me a great deal of pleasure to accept this on his behalf. I think as Gregor pointed out, the cast of people who have won the Banquo Award is quite remarkable, apart from this anomaly in 2009, which I can only put down to some clerical error on your part. So I think Paul is an incredibly worthy winner, and Gregor's already pointed out his amazing talents as an artist and the warmth and regard in which he's held by the design community, the art community and the games community in general. I'd just like to add my own feelings that Paul is a great friend of mine, and I've never met an artist or a creative professional who has had the ability to translate words into pictures in the way that Paul can. He has a remarkable talent for seeing what's on the page and creating these amazing images out of it. And oftentimes creating images so amazing that they're even better than what's written. So many times I've gone back and rewritten stuff because Paul's art is so much better than my writing. So it is a delight to accept this on his part, as he accepted it for me when I was in New Zealand.
I think he said, cheers, thanks.
And today I'll try and remain a man of few words. So I just let on Paul's behalf, and I'll pass this over to him next time we pass him through Paul. And just on Paul's behalf, thank you very much to the Shadowy Cabal and to Conpulsion and to the wider gaming community and artists and creatives everywhere. Thank you very much.
Now, you foolish mortals may have thought that Rocky fell. He didn't fall, he was getting this for me. So what it is my official announcements are over, and I'm going to hand you over to the con coordinator, Phil Harris. But so that Phil can have the sort of final words of the con, we have to give Phil some gratitude from all of his committee at this moment. So, Phil, we do have something for you, and you've definitely not seen what it is. And I admit we've been slightly skullduggerous behind your back. So if you could come up. Phil lives in a very Spartan flat. And we often thought it could be decorated in some way better than it currently is. And so the committee has got you something that could adorn your wall. And so we thought, what better way than to get a portrait of you, Phil? And so there was some lucky coincidences this year, or good planning, and the One Ring team was here, they met for the first time, and so we got a portrait of you as a character from Lord of the Rings. Don't go there. We already did. The artist said no. And so I'd like to present this painting of you, Phil, as a sort of wild man of the north, being from Hull. And so here is a portrait of you, Phil, done by John Hodgson. One slight problem. You can't use that as photo ID in the door. Because John has made you look a bit younger. But congratulations, you've been a great coordinator to work with. Your committee have deep gratitude for you, and we hope that when that youthful Phil, lemon fresh Phil face looks down at you in many years to come, you'll have warm memories of us. So Phil, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much to Meg, and thanks, John. That's just amazing. Right, I'm taken away by that. So it's final speech time. This is the bit where, yes, it's a bit of a list, but hopefully I've spruced it up a little bit in the 16 or 17 pages that I've got to go through. And so, I shall begin. No one would have believed in the early years of the 21st century that our world was being watched by intelligences greater than our own. Sorry, wrong speech. When I took over Compulsion, back in the heady summer of 2011, it was hard to appreciate where we would be today. Okay, I guessed we might be in Edinburgh, in Tevia even, but realistically, you can never predict what the actual days would bring. Still, you can try and study those predictions, and so, ably assisted by my Compulsion committee, we started to plan for the future, and I started to consider how to use my considerable knowledge of social media and events management to enhance the convention. If you want to hear more about how I use social media, shout for paragraph 34, but if you'd prefer Phil just to get on with it, then shout for paragraph 99.
99! 34.
It's okay, I'll leave my thumb in the page in case we want to flip back and change our Well, what a way to go. It's actually quite a special year, as in various forms this is Compulsion's 25th anniversary, something Gregor and I had been trying to pin down for a while, and then, as these things often do, bubbling up when it was a little too late to do any significance about it. Except, from Dragon Age as it started, through Big Con and then to Compulsion, we should thank Martin, Bruce, Alan, Alexi, David, Janet, John, Fiona, Chevy, Joe, Alan, Sandy, and some bald bloke who ran it this year, for making Compulsion one of the long-standing gaming events in UK history. It makes me proud to be counted in Compulsion's history, and let's give a big hand to all those who've been involved and hope that there will easily be another 25 years. So this year then. This year's where we've wanted to expand our gaming footprint. We've placed more emphasis on the other games to really expand what Compulsion is about. In doing so, we've never really forgotten our roots, and role-playing still lies at the heart, and always will, of Compulsion, especially while I am still on Overwatch. Board games have seen the biggest increase this year, with better involvement with FAQ and Unplugged, and war games through Jeff's excellent promotion on Chaos of the War. Add to this a wonderful selection of LARPs and gaming-related talks and events, and you simply can't go wrong. Start with the thanks. We'll kick off with the Teviot staff, and especially Anne Hunter for making the event flow with such ease. We look forward to working with you all next year. To our traders, for adding colour, life and vitality to our trade hall, and the donations to our charity. To Fiona for her excellent bring and buy stall, and their donation to the charity. Talking of colour, we had the Dawn Duelists adding some passion on the Saturday lunchtime in the underground. And our sponsors, Leisure Games and Tweet RPG, who gave money to help us run the convention and support our charity respectively. And Tweet RPG have a new game starting next week, and you should be part of it if you use Twitter. Union of Genius opened especially for Compulsion with their lovely soup. Everyone enjoyed it, and they made money for our charity. Excellent, and if you're living in or visiting Edinburgh, their address is on your ticket, and you won't be throwing that away. Red Phil for his help in constructing our awesome pyramid. When I heard that wood would be involved in the construction, I did start to wonder how big it would be, but they never mentioned blood or stone, so I felt relatively safe. DJ Silvertouch for his great steampunk disco, which romped away well into the night. But on a more gaming-related tack, I'd like to thank our first established guest this year, Stuart Boone, for starting the ball rolling, Avenger Enterprises, Martin, Nate and Michael for their tireless engagement and events, the Cubicle 7 team. One ring were gathered here, one ring combined now, one ring are heading home, and through safe havens find them. Nightfall Games and their media announcement linking Hollywood to Compulsion for the first of hopefully many occasions. Mobile Frame Zero for just goddamn robots, made of Lego, fighting, rock! Dark Harvest, Malifaux Empire Studios for even more. Chronicles of Skin, D101 and Games with their monkey magic and more. Artist, Dave Alsop. You coming back next year, Dave? As I'd like to see you at least one convention every year. And that's one I'd like to be running. John Hodgson, Andy Hepworth, Scott Neal, Paul Bourne and Andy Law. Writers and published, as yet unmentioned but no less valuable, Jared Earl, Gar Ryder Hanrahan, Dominic McDowell, Thomas and Ian Lowson, and of course, Lauren Wiseman for making it across the US with the help of some special women and a flight centre in Barcelona. Many of our guests have cut to the quick to make our convention affordable. We really appreciate that. Thanks to Calm Down Tom, a massive and complete thanks to Nearly Enough Dice podcast. They need to be followed, listened to, and the interviews with people in Conpulsion are on YouTube, going up on YouTube, and will be publicised through their website. In fact, I can confirm that they will become the official podcast of Conpulsion 2013. So let's hear it for their tireless work. Brian and Janet, yet again, ran a very successful charity auction. We'll be welcoming them back if they'll come. Of course, leading me to our charity for 2012, Pass It On, who I've been told we raised £2,368 and 5 pence. And I'd love them to just come up.
Literally makes a difference between us being able to guarantee that we can keep going over the next financial year or not. So it's amazing. So thank you, and thank you for making us welcome and giving us an insight into your slightly different world. We're really passionate about what we do. We really believe in it. We're really proud that we've managed to keep going for 10 years, and you're now enabling us to keep going into our 11th. And yeah, you're going to make so many people's lives really, really different. And your generosity has just been astounding. So thank you.
Thanks for being here, taking part in the charity auction and really being the heart of this convention. You caught my heart. Thanks to Jen for providing our griffin, and could I ask Ben to stand up on Jen's behalf? I knew that because Jen liked designing things, and I know her love of art, that we asked some of the artists to do some artwork for her of their versions of our griffin. And so we had John Hodgson's. Scott Neal's. Finally, with a slightly more Easter feel, Andy Helps. Then I give you this with thanks to the Conpulsion Committee and for Jen, and I'd quite like her to design our logo for next year if she'll be willing.
I can't speak for her, but I'll quiz it to her. I'm sure she'll absolutely love these. Thank you, everyone.
Finally, and I am going to say finally once here, Gar, thank you. Thanks go to my committee, to Sandy for the RPGs, to Erin and Ken for the board games, to Gecko for the LARPs, to Alan for the website, Aspen for the listings, Gwen and Roderick for their input. To Sam and our excellent stewards, our blue shirts. for the organisation, which was exceptional in the final weeks, making Gregor and my job so much easier. To Kat, whose knowledge of previous conventions was incredibly useful in making this one great, and who kept our finances under lock and key. Gregor. Would you like to come up? I've lost my fingers. Gregor, our book, From Ragamuffin to Edinburgh, will be out soon.
For Cubicle 7.
We just haven't told you yet. But quite seriously, this convention would be nothing without you. If you want to know how well we get on, you should just watch the Nearly Enough Dice YouTube video.
You told me the 7th wedding was off.
It's a new definition of yin and yang. For me, that says it all. But, committee.
Done all con.
Before you present. I know that it is all vegan.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you so much.
So, so I would like you simply, if you can, to be upstanding for the Compulsion Committee for 2012 and everybody who's worked for the Compulsion. And then I can tell them all I'm replacing them tomorrow. So that was Compulsion 2012. If you'd like Gregor and I to run the next year, I'd suggest that you tell us for our social media feeds. We're hard to find, being Compulsion on Twitter, Facebook, Google, everywhere. And if you like the social media work, then quite seriously, I am for hire and could do with the money to cover my potentially growing griffin collection. If you're still in Edinburgh tomorrow, you're welcome to join us in the Meadow Bar from like noon. We'll be upstairs in the Meadow Bar. It's just along the road. It's very easy to find on Google. And finally, we have our pub quiz in the lounge bar, where Craig Oxborough will delight you with his questions, ably assisted by Simon Proctor and Kat Tobin. Thanks to them, and thanks for coming to Compulsion. So that's convention closed. Move along now, nothing more to see here. Thank you.